Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shannon Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology coach, and personalized learning coordinator for my district.
And I'm her producer slash husband slash lovable night watchman, Fuzz Martin.
Because tonight, today, this morning, this evening,
whenever you're listening,
whenever
this
you're
episode
listening is going to be a night at the Smithsonian.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
I just was thrilled about the title of today's podcast.
Yeah, you were worried about me having a pun for our producer thing, and that was no worries at all. I carry a flashlight. I see things come to life in front of me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm here to produce your podcast.
Sweet. So yeah, how's it going?
That's my function.
Yeah.
Things are good.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Today I was at EdCamp.
Yes.
I love EdCamp. If you've never been to an EdCamp,
you
find one online. It's I started looking today too because it's towards the end of the school year. But there's still, I think, 5 EdCamps left around the country. There's one in New York coming up in May, and then I can't remember the other ones.
Can you participate in any EdCamp no matter where you are, or do you have to be in your state?
You can, but not face to face unless you're gonna fly there. I guess on vacation.
Yours today was virtual though.
Today
right?
it was virtual, so it was cool. So granted, we're here in Wisconsin, and I've gone to EdCamp Elbrook last 3 years.
Yeah.
But there was someone from Ohio and Indiana, and we had New York there today. So it was really cool because we had people from all across the country because ours was virtual to this EdCamp. Face-to-face, obviously, you'd have to travel there, but you can sign up, and they're free for teachers. And what's so cool is it's called a non-conference conference because as educators or anybody involved in education can go, you pitch what you want to discuss with other educators and people in education, and then they put everybody in a room, and then you get to pick and choose, and you can go to whichever room is interesting to you. And there's usually quite a few. There's usually 4 or 5 rounds of sessions, and then 10 to 12 rooms at least. And ours is smaller-ish, but there's 300 some people. Yeah,
I actually see that one of the participants I'm looking at the EdCamp Elmbrook Twitter page right now, and they were thanking one of their participants that joined from Turkey, the country.
Yes. Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, so it's a great way for educators to connect, and everything is free. And then they also have fun freebies. There's always books and giveaways and things like that. So if you get a chance, sign up for EdCamp. I brought one of my friend teachers with me today. I was like, sign up for this. And she was like, I'm geeking out. This is so fun. Just because you meet people you never would, and you learn about, and you talk about teacher stuff, and it's very productive, and it's cool.
Cool.
And I get so many ideas. So today's episode, actually, it's kind of a little mini episode. We're doing our little night day at the Smithsonian. But I wrote down a list of all these things I want to talk about after talking about them at EdCamp today, but I needed time to process and try them out in my classroom before I share out with everybody else. But it's just a great way to share ideas with others. So if you get a chance, go to EdCamp. Sign up if you can. Again, they're free. They're easy. Usually you can find them through Eventbrite, or there's a website that you go to EdCamp, and then they share. They have
Pitchboard? Was it the?
No, literally it's called EdCamp.
Oh, it's EdCamp. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And then it lists all the EdCamps across the country, so they have
them
scheduled that way. So
get to EdCamp.
So anyway, so that's one of the fun things that I did today. So lots of sparkly things, things are looking up, and there's some sunshine, and I'll take it.
I bought new materials today to do our next square foot gardening project.
Yes.
So,
and we totally drew up the plans in
a
3D garden drawer.
We did. And also, the price of wood is outrageous right now.
Yes, it is.
So
that too.
Thanks, stimulus check.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're going to have a beautiful garden in the back. We'll add it to all the others.
Yes.
Cool.
Very nice.
Should we talk about the museum?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, Smithsonian.
What?
A night at the Smithsonian. Whenever I talk about the Smithsonian, I love the Smithsonian museums. You always think about Night at the Museum. Like, those movies are so cute that...
I would say, well, just to talk about that movie for a second, which movie would you say you show more in classes, Night at the Museum or National Treasure?
I don't really show movies, but when we have a day where there's a break, because we don't do that really anymore. There's no time in the day to have a break
like
ever.
2020, 2021, no.
There's no. But if we have like the students earn a movie and then they get to pick a classroom
like a
kind of thing.
Or something.
I always show National Treasure.
National Treasure, okay.
Yeah.
Because you are technically a social studies teacher, right?
Correct.
So part of
my day is social studies.
Part of your day, and the rest of the day is
running around like a crazy
person. Teachers, and then the rest of your day is grading on the couch. But you
I don't
listening
really grade on the couch, I grade various other places.
The kitchen counter. But those of you listening know the struggle.
Yes, absolutely. So while we could do National Treasure, we are going to focus on
We're focusing on the Smithsonian.
So this is a mini episode. Really? You never know it, because
mini episode just means we have more monologue and
we've got 2 sites today.
One-liner times.
It means that I it'll be a short one. It'll be great. Like, you can listen to it 10 minutes, get an idea, and move on with your day, and then listen to all this in between stuff. Anyway, so the first one actually is a suggestion from one of my coworkers.
Okay.
Because in digital world, we're always looking for new ways to find resources for our students that are safe and educational, and we want them reading content that's useful and challenging at the same time. And sometimes, I know between middle school and high school, you're looking for articles that have a little more substance to them. Or I know some of our like Lucy Calkins units where they're going to be writing not argument papers, but argument papers, where they're choosing different sides, or they need to be laying out various other like research points and be able to write a claim and evidence, and they need more than just a quick let's Google it kind of thing. So Smithsonian Magazine is a resource for really good articles. We have talked about like Tween Tribune before, which is kind of the Smithsonian middle schooly version of things, but Smithsonian Magazine is great for adults to read, but also when you have students really digging in on research and needing to find some really good information, and longer articles, so they're not summarized or shortened up for students if you're going to do a quick article in class. These have more to them, not like a ton where they're overwhelming, but they definitely have more substance to them. And it's great. They have all kinds of topics. Like, you've got everything covered here, from history and like under history category, you got archaeology and U.S. history and world history, and science. You have from like mind and body to wildlife to space to human behavior. They have ingenuity, which I think is such a cool category of like, they have articles on the innovative spirit, and then they have arts and culture, travel, and then you also have links to stuff in the actual museums, which is cool. But it's just a really cool resource with these really in-depth articles. And you can search, there's a search bar. You can type in your topic, or you can go under one of their categories. So like if you click on U.S. history, you've got articles that are recent. There's new articles every day that are being posted. So there's just a ton of content to go through. Which is cool. I know sometimes it can get overwhelming, but it's also a good place then to teach students how to search appropriately. And they have a full site where they can't really mess it up. I mean, they can kind of mess it up, but if they're going to search the site, they can practice like, okay, I know that I'm going to search animals and I'm going to search panda bears from, 2017, and then, search for things that way. So there's a ton of resources. You can subscribe, and they actually have like a little daily newsletter they'll send out if you're interested in that. And then they have like video resources and stuff. But it's just a really cool way to have students resource that's a little bit more than some of those other, like we've done ReadWorks and we've done Newsella, and they have good information in there, and they level the reading in those. This one does not level reading, but it has more content to kind of pick and choose from, which is cool. And then, hey, it's also got daily Sudoku and universal crosswords and things like that too, just for get the brain going. And they're good for, the site's really kind of just cool for learning new cool things, or if you're having students exploring new topics, or some inquiry-based learning, like, okay, we're going to pick some animals instead of just going to a zoo website. Like, let's check out maybe the history of it, or like, where was the first zoo in the United States, and
where was it,
where did they come from, and all those kind of things. So
sure.
Smithsonian Magazine, there's a lot to it, but it's definitely a cool site for pulling some in-depth articles for students. So there's that.
Yeah, there's that. That's
so
great.
What goes along with this site is our second site. They're kind of like a partner. It's our Smithsonian night at the Smithsonian morning on your drive to work. So the second one that actually kind of coincides with it, that puts more stuff for teachers, so it's not just articles, is called learninglab.si.edu.
I have to tell you, when I first went to this site, it was pretty cool, and I found something that I needed to buy you for Mother's Day. So you got a Mother's Day gift coming from this website. I'll tell you what it is on the show after Mother's Day.
Just wait, there's more. Okay, so learninglab.si.edu is a cool way of then making these articles interactive if you need them to be, or organized if you need them to be. Because I know if I go on this site, like, oh, this is so cool, I want to use all these resources for my next unit.
Yeah.
And then, like, where do I put all this stuff? Besides, like, saving Google links or making a Wakelet or, like, doing something like that. So they have a section here. It's organized prettily. Smithsonian Learning Lab. Then there's categories. So discover, create, share, and learn. Discover is where you would search your topic that you're looking for. Right now we're gearing up for Cold War stuff in my classroom. So you can search your topic. They have resources, and then you can also organize them by collection. So then when you go to create, you can create collections of your own, like articles, and put them together. Or you can take other people's collections that have already organized all these resources for you and borrow their stuff. Like, it's the same content, but you can use their organization, so you don't have to do it all yourself. So, like, for an example, if I'm typing in under Discover, what do I want to look up?
Mars rover.
Okay. So I'm looking up the Mars rover because there's a billion things on that.
Okay. Do you want me to do something else?
No, there really is. Like, there's so many resources. Okay, so there's 224 resources containing Mars rover. I can click Learning Lab collections. Somebody else, like another educator, somebody else has created, there's 2 collections that have been created. So what I can do is, if I go under resources, I'm just going to pick one of the first articles. When I click on that, it brings me to like a workspace kind of screen. And then there, I can click to add it to my collections. I can favorite the article if I want to. I can share it out. So if I want to share it out on like Facebook, Twitter, I can email it to my students. I can copy the code. I can drop it into Google Classroom because they have a direct classroom link, which is cool. You can connect your classroom there. Get the links to share. For our students and or teaching them how to cite, they have the Cite Your Sources, Cite This Resource. It shows them exactly how to MLA format it, APA format, or Chicago style format it, and then you can copy the citation, so that way they have correctly actually cited the articles, which is huge. Great, because teaching citations is difficult because it's a process. So they have citations in there. You can print them if you want to print an article, or if some students need them printed versus some can work on them digitally. It's up to you. So it then makes each article that you choose interactive, and you can use it for various things. So you can pick and choose how you want to use the information or put it in collections to share for later on. So it's pretty cool. I like that it drops right into Classroom too. So if you have students reading an article, it makes them pretty, drops them in Classroom, and then you've got that resource available to your students all in one place. So they don't have to do the research on their own always. You can also share the articles with them that you want them to take the research from.
Yeah, that's very cool. And if you're, I know I've gotten too far away from the main page, but if you click on Create and then go scroll down just a tiny bit, it has, teacher collections, student activities, topical collections, pretty cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really, and it
makes life easy.
It does.
Design thinking, historical thinking skills, visible thinking routines. Those are some of their ready-to-use model collections. So lots of awesome resources for educators and students.
And organized, where if you are coming in and, end of the year, I get it, it's May, and you're like, I don't really want to try anything new. But look here, like these are put together for you where you don't have to build something from scratch. Like you've got some cool ideas organized for you.
End of the year, you're like, I need some help.
I need to liven it up.
Just go to learninglab.si.edu and type it in the search bar, and you can probably find what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That's cool. Look at that mini episode.
Look at that.
We can still get out of here in mini episode time. I think we have, according to my calculations, we have 6 minutes before we're into normal episode length.
Well, that has been our little night at the Smithsonian Museum.
Yes.
Or morning or afternoon or commute to work.
Yes.
So that's kind of fun. And again, if you can go to an ed camp, do it.
Do it.
And yeah, I've seen a lot of fun things going on through Twitter and whatnot. So if you're doing ideas and checking out cool websites, share those too. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, episode 89.
89.
If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at SmartNWI. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in this episode, you can visit smartnwi.com. Check out the EdTech Directory. It's getting huge.
Big.
New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed in this podcast and the Smart and WI website are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed in this podcast, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we sure hope they do because they're the Smithsonian and they're super cool. And we will talk to you again next time on the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast.